So I wanted to just welcome you all. My name is Diana Reina. I'm the Deputy Brooklyn Borough President. Thank you so much for being here tonight with us. You are all Dominicans here today celebrating our grand gala, our grand parade. We are so appreciative of taking the time to join us here at Brooklyn Borough Hall, your home. On behalf of Eric Adams, we want to just thank you for joining us, and we wanted to just thank especially that beautiful ensemble a cappella of what was Mariano Cerza, soloist singer, taking us back to a present moment of what were most pleasurable of music, times that perhaps these generations today may not identify with, but we have to continue to play them so that we can always remember our culture, our arts. I want to thank what is the committee of the Dominican Day Parade and our Latino Outreach Coordinator, Yamilki Crisostomo. We have a new addition to the family in her belly. Queremos desearle mucha suerte a Yamilki. Queremos darle las gracias. Yamilki ha sido una persona muy conectada a lo que es su herencia dominicana y me da gran placer trabajar con ella todos los días. Es parte de mi equipo aquí en Borough Hall como la coordinadora de asuntos latinos para el condado de Brooklyn, y por ella estamos muy agradecidos de poder coordinar con el comité del desfile dominicano, que está en su tercer año de ser más fuerte que nunca, y agradecemos lo que es el liderazgo de María Curi y todos los miembros que están aquí presentes. Quiero que se alcen las manos. The committee of the Dominican Day Parade, who are part of the new leadership for the last 3 years. Maria Curi, who is the president of that, the chairwoman of that particular event. I know that we're here joined by Council Member Antonio Reynoso and Idanis Rodriguez. And we are just getting started this evening, so I'd like to put us all in a moment of prayer, giving homage and dedication to our Christianity values. Our Dominican Republic has always been founded on great faith. Estoy dejando saber que estamos ahora, vamos a ponerlo en presencia de nuestro Dios para darle gracias por todo que tenemos, los valores que nuestra tierra quisqueya está valorada, sembrada en esos valores cristianos que siempre están presentes con nosotros. I'd like to call up Denise Felipe Adams to join us.
¿Cómo están todo el mundo? ¿Cómo estás? Lo voy a hacer en bilingüe. Padre amantísimo, Father God, te damos la gracia por este día. Pedimos que nos unge con tu espíritu, que traiga la paz, que este sitio donde estamos aquí unidos como la gran familia que somos, no solamente dominicanos, pero somos gente humana, que queremos saltar y gozar en tu santo nombre. We want to just praise God and say thank you for this magnificent day, for this unity here. We are one family, not only Dominicans, but we're of the human race. And we come together in peace and in harmony, saying thank you, God. Thank you for the food, thank you for this unity, and thank you for your peace. Let's take this moment of silence to honor Miosotis familia and everyone else who has been missing from this wonderful universe in this week, because we had a lot of shootings. So a moment of silence, please. Un momento de silencio para la familia Miosotis familia. Thank you, amantísimo Padre. Oramos en tu santo nombre, Jesús. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amén. Muchas gracias, Denise. Denise es dominicana también, aquí en Borough Hall, sirviendo el público de Brooklyn. Estamos a las órdenes, asistente del presidente del condado de Brooklyn. So, buenas noches a todos. On behalf of Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, I want to welcome everyone here. This is a distinguished event. You are our distinguished guests. welcome to tonight's gala. Again, my name is Diana Reina, and I am the first Deputy Brooklyn Borough President of Dominican descent to serve what would be this administration of Brooklyn Borough Hall, 2.6 million people. We've become the third largest city in the United States if we were a city of its own, dating back to 100 years ago when we had to expand and quickly deal with the infrastructure and fast growth of population. We are back to those booming days, and we want to just extend what is the inclusion of all the hard work of people who have come before us, so many immigrants and founding fathers that have been able to travel far to risk it all to be here, our grandparents, our parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, who represent that immigrant wave. The Borough President Adams had launched what was Embrace Your Hyphen campaign. And because we understand that when we are tolerant of each other's cultures, when we understand one another, when we take the time to understand and respect, we are that much better of a society. And it gives us great honor to be able to celebrate the kickoff of the Dominican Day Parade here in Brooklyn Borough Hall. And as you take photos, I'm going to just express our thank you to the team who's celebrated what would be every detail here. Gaudi, who's with us from the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, who's also working with the Brooklyn Dominican Committee to be able to post your comments and pictures on hashtag BKDRCelebration. So please start your tweets so that way we can promote this eventful parade and make it the best ever. So I served as the New York City Council member for 12 years, represented proudly the 34th District, including the neighborhoods of Williamsburg, my hometown, homegrown community, Bushwick, Brooklyn, and Ridgewood, Queens. It is great to join you here today in celebration of our heritage. Our future is here in Brooklyn and the state of New York. And so many of you I've known throughout my career. And when I was serving in the council, I kept saying, come to Brooklyn, come to Brooklyn. Don't stay out of the equation. Today, you see why. All that culmination of hard work is paying off. And we continue to push the boundaries of making sure that it doesn't leave people behind. We want this economic boom to include everyone. And we can only do that by making sure we're raising awareness, connecting people to opportunity, pushing the boundaries of our MWBE participation, and so much more policy. Nothing can happen if we're not looking at the end of where we want to be and work our way backwards. In 1844, the Dominican Republic secured its independence from Haiti, became a sovereign state until 1861, under the leadership of General Pedro Santana. Segments of the Dominican population sought to annex the republic back to Spain and did so during March 18, 1861. In August 1863, there was the start of the war for the second independence, La Guerra de la Restauración, to be ultimately won from Spain under the leadership of General Gregorio Luperón. For that reason, el desfile dominicano is celebrated on the second Sunday of August. Ultimately, the Dominican Republic was reestablished free from Spain in March 3rd, 1865. I lost my dad in March of this year. And one of the most precious stories I heard this year was how in his family, a family of 12 kids living on a farm, one day there was nothing to eat. And having to deal with children all under the age of 12 were probably going to die if there was nothing to do. The opportunity for my grandfather to be able to be the ingenious entrepreneur he was, went to his local bank and asked for a loan and said, I'm good for this loan. And the bank said, you have to demonstrate that. He went back, he borrowed pigs, he borrowed a horse, he borrowed a piece of land from neighbors, showcased, staged, we call that here in the United States, to be able to stage what is the demonstration of equity, to be able to acquire all of this because his neighbors were neighborly enough to say, I want to be there for you in time of need. He was able to convince this loan officer when he miraculously came to visit and inspect that there was equity, collateral. And he said, these are my pigs, this is my horse, this is my land, none of which was so. He received that loan. And ever since that 2nd August Sunday, every year they celebrated until his death what was the celebration of having something to eat. And they would invite the town who helped him solve his issue of hunger for his family of 12 children. I say that because we live on this earth and we are not alone. And those are the traditions that we must pass on, that we are there for one another in time of need, in time of sorrow. And when we want to celebrate, that we share those stories to keep us humble so we understand what is the trajectory as to where we want to be, working towards that every day together as one Brooklyn. We want to invite Borough President Adams to join us this evening in addressing this crowd.
Thank you so much, and it is really good seeing a lot of our friends here. My good friend Henry from DC 37. You know, I think every year you find your way here. You know that? I thank you so much. Adonis, the council person, transportation, amazing things that he is doing with the Transportation Committee as we are embarked upon this entire fight around transportation and transportation equity. Our district leaders, Arelis is always talking about the positive things that we need is taking place and really a voice in the Sunset Park community. And one of our great council persons that's here as well, he took over when Diana moved on to Borough Hall. He took over as the councilman, Antonio Reynoso. Antonio, good seeing you as well. I think the story that the deputy talked about is really profound and is really reflective of what it is to come from and the contribution of our immigrant community. I remember 2 weeks ago I was on the train during the graduation season, and sitting across from me was a family that happened to be a Mexican family. And the young man had on a cap and gown, and there must have been about 7 or 8 people of the family. And I looked over at the mother and said, you know, hijos? And she smiled, couldn't speak English, but she had that same smile that my mother would have had when she tried to raise the 6 of us. Oftentimes, caught up in this conversation about immigration and immigrants and the contributions of immigrants, and on the national level, people don't realize it's about that families just want to see their children live a healthy lifestyle. They want their families to participate in the American dream. An American dream is not a dream for English speakers only. It's a dream for whoever will hold on to that American flag and believe in the principles and concept of it. 47% of people who live in this borough speak a language other than English at home. I am not the borough president of English speakers. I'm the borough president of every language in this borough, and I will continue to do so. And the only way we out-Trump Donald Trump is to make sure that we continue to have parades and festivals like this. It says that we are proud of our heritage, This is the only country on the globe that tells you don't abandon your culture. Come, bring it, and let it be part of the fusion of the American experience. That is what makes us great. It's the combination of those cultures and experience. No one does it better or personifies it more than the Dominican community. I grew up with one famous quote: "I'm Dominican, baby, I'm Dominican." Before people were proud of who they were, you heard Dominican people say, "I'm Dominican, baby." Don't get it mixed up. I'm Dominican, baby, I'm Dominican. No one knows what it is to be part of fighting to ensure you have a way and participate in the American dream than the Dominican community. That is why we are happy that you made the most important decision of your life and changed where you have your reception and finally came to the borough that would appreciate you, called the Borough of Brooklyn. We were lied to in school when folks said, Galileo said that the earth, the sun was the center of the universe. Brooklyn is the center of the universe, and you sailed the course to have it here. The welcome mat of having you here is going to let you know you won't go anyplace else again. Once you do it here in Brooklyn, you know you do it right. I like to say, once you try Negro, you never go back. And this was happening in the borough of Brooklyn. So welcome, and we thank you. We thank you for your contributions. We thank you for your dedication. And most importantly, we thank our elders. Coming to this country and navigating the complexities of government is challenging enough. But when you can't speak the language, as Diana talked about her dad and her mother, and many of the young people who are here, I remember at Antonio's inauguration looking down at his mother. She did not understand all the accolades her son was receiving, but a language that speaks to your heart does not have to be translated. And she realized that of all of her struggles and difficulties, she had a young boy that turned into a man, that turned into a city council person. I remember the pride that Diana's dad and mother had watching their daughter become a city council person. Think about what your mothers and grandmothers feel every time you reach another level. When they came here, they were looked down upon because of their dialect and not understanding and being able to navigate the English language. But in spite of that, their children continue to excel. So as we acknowledge the heritage, let's remember those seniors. Let's remember those pioneers that in spite of fear, in spite of uncertainty, in spite of not being treated with the same level of dignity and respect they deserve merely because of their language barriers, they continue to persevere and push on. And as we continue to excel, let's not forget the fact that they must excel with us. The popularity of our brand must be prosperity for them as well. Let's not leave them behind as we become so fancy and so attractive and so cute and so popular. Let's continue to understand we are who we are and what we are because they saw in us before anyone else saw in us. Let's commit ourselves to the seniors and the elders of all of these immigrant populations who made the way and sailed to these shores that we too can participate in it. We sit under the flag of democracy because they watered that tree with their blood, their hopes, their aspirations, and dreams. So I say thank you for that. And today I'm able to say, I'm Dominican, baby, I'm Dominican. As you notice, your Milky has one of my voters she's carrying her belly now, you know. So on behalf of all Brooklynites, 2.6 million people, I salute the officers, the members, and the supporters of the Dominican Day Parade for celebrating and doing this great event each year of displaying the Dominican culture, folklore, and popular traditions and way of life. We look forward to a major event taking place in we got to move the parade to Brooklyn also now that I think about Antonio. You know what I'm saying? Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue don't have any Dominicans on it. I thank you for exemplifying what is beautiful about the great Dominican community by displaying the Dominican parade, and thank you for all the contribution you make to this great borough of Brooklyn and the city of New York. I, Eric Adams, Brooklyn Borough President, Dominican Day Parade Celebration in Brooklyn, USA, 2017. Thank you, congratulations. Who from the organization?
At this time, I'd like to call up, it's like a proud mother, my successor, not that I am his mother, not old enough, Council Member Antonio Reynoso of the 34th District. Our hometown of Williamsburg is proud to have elected a son of Los Sures. I'd like to ask him to say a few words.
All right. Otro aplauso para la Deputy Borough President Diana Reina and our Borough President Eric Adams. Ay, María. Tanto tiempo. Bajaron de la montaña de Alto Manhattan al condado de la Maravilla, Brooklyn. Finalmente. Quiero decir que yo ha tomado bicicleta, tren, ha caminado para llegar a Washington Heights todos los años para apoyar una parada y siempre ha dicho, vengan a Brooklyn, aquí es que está el coro, aquí es que está el mambo, la tambora, la guira, es aquí que se hace si fuera aquí, que hasta Anthony Santos tenía que bajar de una montaña para llegar. Y es un orgullo y un honor que después de tanto tiempo ustedes tomaron el tiempo para bajar a ver lo grande que es Brooklyn. Y nosotros vamos a hacer todo lo posible para asegurar que sea un logro grande para el trabajo que han hecho, tanto trabajo que han hecho ustedes, para que vean el labor de su trabajo. Aquí lo van a ver, que va a ser una gran celebración. Y esto nada más es el principio. Una cultura, una tradición tiene que comenzar. Y yo siempre he dicho que la fuerza dominicana que está en el Alto Manhattan, en el South Bronx, eso es algo que por tiempo ha llegado. Y aquí no lo podemos dejar abandonado en Brooklyn, porque también es casa de nosotros, es un lugar de nosotros. Y ustedes han cumplido, y le doy gracias por eso. Y estoy loco para comenzar a bailar y celebrar en la Gala. No one forget the Gala. So what I was saying is I've been going biking, walking, and train to every single event that the Dominican Day Parade has had since I've been a council member. Every single time. The only council member from my outer borough that did that. But I knew the value of my culture. I know where I come from and what matters to me. And every single time, in Spanish, go un boche, yo le doy un boche. I stand on stage and I say a joke about how they forgot about the Dominicans in Brooklyn. That's what I always say. I tell them every time, you guys, I'm here, but you don't know who I am. No one wants me to be on the stage, but they actually like me now because they know I complain about it every single time. And then I got a call from Maria, and she was like, we're going to Brooklyn. And I want to thank them for that because they didn't forget about the Dominicans in Brooklyn. They know that we're everywhere. And we're going to make this the greatest celebration that we've ever had. But one thing that's important is that a culture or tradition needs to be helped. It needs to be fostered. And you've been doing this for decades, if not for decades in Manhattan, decades in the Bronx. And in Brooklyn, we've been left out. And I just want to say, let's start building that tradition here so we can see how strong the roots, the Dominican roots are. And I hope in 5 years, we're not going to be able to fit the Dominicans in this place. But I tell you this, so long as our borough president is Eric Adams. This is always going to be a home for Dominicans in Brooklyn. So thank you all. Lo veo, pa'lante, siempre pa'lante. Cuídense.
Un merengazo le dimos en Brooklyn. Antonio would take the bike, but I would just drive to Washington Heights at least once a year and would give them the same boche every year. And so it is true. We are finally home in Brooklyn. And I want to just make sure that people understand this celebration begins at the Gala. This is the kickoff to sharing with you that information. Friday, August 11th. I encourage everyone to join us at the Dyker Beach Golf Club in Brooklyn so that you have a fantastic time. Es importante reconocer de que este es el principio de una tradición en Brooklyn que estamos ya muy alegre de patrocinar en Brooklyn porque es la primera vez fuera de Alto Manhattan y el Bronx. Y es un día que se va a dedicar esta noche de baile, de cultura, de risa, de trago. En la Gala, el 11 de agosto, en Dyker Beach Golf Club. Y queremos que todo el mundo aporte, que salga, que venga con sus familiares. Ahora mismo quiero darle la tarima a nuestro concejal del Alto Manhattan, que vino desde lejano. I want to just express how far he's come to join us, Council Member Idanis Rodriguez of Upper Washington Heights.
Gracias. Buenas noches. You know, it's nice to hear Antonio and Diana because Diana and Antonio represent the generation of my daughters when it comes to, they're talking about their parents that work so hard and they came to this country without speaking the language. So I'm one of those who came here at the age of 18 that still today Spanish is my native language, still having my strong accent. But I told people, as strong my accent is, it is my commitment to work for social justice. You know, in 117 years ago, let's put this city in perspective, where the Afro-American community only represents 2% of the New York City population, where the Irish community were discriminated, where the Italian community were discriminated, Latino, we were not counted in the 1900 census. So as someone born and raised in that little island of Hispaniola, because we need to put things in perspective. When Juan Rodriguez came here in 1613, who became the first non-Native American who settled in New York City, a free black man from the island of Hispaniola, that's when our history began. So we are not newcomers. In 1887, 7,000 Dominicans came through Ellis Island. And you know that group, studied by the Dominican Study Institute, most of them, they were black Dominican with a higher level of education, 1887. So I think that this celebration in 2017 is important because very proud to be born and raised in the Dominican Republic, you know, a little island that we had to be studied. We made one of each New Yorkers is Dominican. We are the largest group when we measure, when we are compared by New Yorkers from any other countries. And we only represent an island. I mean, first of all, we share the island. And when we hear from Diana or Antonio, and we talk about our independence movement, you know, the men and women who fought for the independent movement, they didn't fight for that independence with a hate against the Haitian. Even in the independent movement, there was Haitians who joined the Trinitario for that independence. And we have Ivan Dominguez who know the history much better than, I would say, most of us. So, and when we lost our independence, the one that we got in 1844, more Dominicans were killed by the Spaniard, and a free black man, a Gregorio Luperón, rescued our independence. And I think that we have to put our history in that perspective. We know that our celebration as Dominican is not by hating any group. We know that we have a lot of things in common. Bob Marley said, "Some of us shipped through the Caribbean, others through American." When we go back to ancestors, all of them came from Africa. And now in 2017, the celebration of any particular ethnic group, Dominicans, Caribbean, Italian, Irish, has to be put in a perspective of the future that we want to build. Building a New York City for all. A New York City where, as Eric said, and Henry and I, we fought against police brutality when he was not dreaming about being elected, when I was not thinking about running for office. And here we are today, truly champion of progressive movement, say, in New York City, we will be proud more than ever to celebrate our ancestors by fighting for our children so that every single children, regardless of their ethnicity, they should be the next middle class in New York City. And that's what Dominican is fighting for, to be sure that Dominican children, together with the Afro-Americans, with the Anglo and the Asian, is guaranteed that they will get the best education to be the middle class of the community. Nosotros luchamos juntos, celebrando nuestra cultura, sin odio a nadie, como una sola familia. Y la lucha de celebración es con lo que nosotros queremos buscar en el futuro. Que cada niño nuestro sea la clase media de esta ciudad y construir un Nueva York para todos. Thank you.
I tell my children, I feel bad for you. You have to do better than mom and dad because there's nothing less. Nothing less is expected, nothing less will be required. And so that expectation of that next generation is dependent on the foundation we are leaving them. Raising the bar, making sure that there is a lateral and vertical upward mobility to the middle class. That is the inheritance that they need to strive for. So at this moment, I'd like to call on our district leader, Arelis Martinez of the 51st District.
Good evening, everybody. There is nothing more proud of myself to see the achievement that we are getting, and I want to start thanking and giving the responsibility of the person who is responsible for our achievement, our Borough President, Eric Adams. I was telling him how much good I feel about it, but also to our group of people that is now born, Maria, that is part of the committee for the Dominican Parade. And I can't even express all the things that I have to say, starting with all the things that our city council was talking, Irani, about our history. And I really hit me because last year somebody told me I can't be dealing with Dominicans because Dominicans are racist. And you know, I am an educator at City University of New York, and it really hurts me because the person who told me is an educated person. And it's my friend for years, and I said, you're saying that because you never went back to our history. In 1600, a black person who is a Dominican, who is a person who saw and got the vision that we need to be free, was a black man. In 1800, our people, our ancestors, they all came from Africa and cannot accept that Maya Dominican are racist. So that I'm here to say thank you to Irani that went a little back to the history of our country, because we are not racist. We know that our ancestors are mixed, that I come from Spain, that they came from Africa, but the first one was the Indians. So I'm very proud to be a Dominican. And yes, baby, I'm a Dominican. And thank you everybody for being here, and looking forward to more achievement for our Dominican. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to call up the Dominican Day Parade Development Chair, Wilton Cedeno, and Chair and Board Member, Maria Curi, to come up and introduce what is the program and members of this great parade committee. Thank you.
Brooklyn, how are you? How's everyone doing? My name is Wilton Cedeno. I'm a Brooklynite. I went to Brooklyn Technical High School. So I'm a graduate of Brooklyn Technical High School. I worked at the Hudson Avenue plant. So I have roots in Brooklyn. And like the borough president always says, I'm gonna switch it a little bit. There are two types of Dominicans. Can you tell me who they are? Those that are from Brooklyn and those that want to be in Brooklyn. So we're Dominicans in Brooklyn. So we're very happy to be here. Thank you, Borough President Eric Adams, and Deputy Borough President Diana Reina, Antonio Reynoso. Thank you for all your contributions. It is a pleasure for the Dominican Day Parade to come to Brooklyn. August 11th, we're going to the Dyker Beach Golf Club, and we're gonna turn that place into a little Dominican island. We have, is our chef Mimi here? Where is Mimi? Mimi, come over here. I want people to see you. This lady is gonna transform that place. We're gonna have authentic Dominican cuisine by the hands of this chef right here, Mimi Isle. And it's going to be excellent food. So we thank Mimi. And just to tell you a little bit about the Dominican Day Parade, our goal is really to help our students. Any funds that we have left over is to help give scholarship. Last year we gave 25 scholarships to deserving students, Dominican students from New York to California. And actually, one of them is interning for the Dominican Day Parade. Sara Valenzuela, can you say hello and wave? And she's doing all our social media. So we are investing in talent. So that's one of the reasons that the Dominican Day Parade is here, because we want to develop our pipeline. And we know that's something that the borough president believes in. I heard him, he spoke at a Brooklyn Technical High School graduation, and he gave an encouraging message. And he said that we are all connected. Everything that you do impacts everybody else. He said we are unified. So the way we treat each other must be with love and with respect, and really to unleash the potential in every one of us. And that's what we're doing, making sure that Dominicans in Brooklyn, Latinos in Brooklyn, African Americans in Brooklyn, Indians in Brooklyn, everybody prosper and everyone has a chance to succeed. So we are more than glad to be in Brooklyn. Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's a great honor and a great pleasure to introduce the chair of the Dominican Day Parade. Maria Curi is an entrepreneur, but she also loves the community. She volunteers on many boards, and she tells me, and she tells everybody, Wilton, if I take an assignment, I want to do the best. I'm going to put everything in it. And let me tell you, she's putting everything she has in this parade to be the best parade, to making sure that you're having a great time, that we stick to our mission, and that excellence and standards of excellence are surpassed. So it's a pleasure to introduce you, the chair of the Dominican Day Parade, Ms. Maria Curi. Welcome. Maria, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wilton. Thank you so much, our esteemed Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams. obviously our dear and wonderful sister, Diana Reina. Listen, let me just give you a little synopsis. Nothing happens with the Dominican Day Parade without a group, a team, just what we have right here. And it's every single person. But if you want to know why the Dominican Day Parade is successful, it starts in Brooklyn. It started in Brooklyn. Diana, if you remember, it was Lillian Perez and I that called upon you, and we said, we're starting the Dominican Day Parade anew. We are a new team. We need to get out there. We need to make sure our story is told. And Diana Reina took control. If you do not know this woman, Eric, you know how lucky you are. She takes control, but in the best way. And she initiated and she pushed forward, and every single thing that we do here, we duplicate in all the other boroughs. So every time we ask the other boroughs to do what we do, we tell them, you better talk to Brooklyn, right? So listen. It was very easy for us to say we wanted to come to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is an open arm. Every single person here said we're here to help, from the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce with a Gaudi that's right over there with us, working with us. We have Denise, who right away, we have Arelis, of course, our wonderful borough president. And listen, it is a team effort. The only thing that we ask of you is to make sure that you spread the word. We brought the little cards. It tells about where we are. You gotta make sure that you come out and support it. We do it for the education of our children. It is as simple as that. We now have community initiatives. We also have our cultural enhancement. We want to make sure that our traditions stay alive, and they only stay alive when we keep talking about it. So hopefully we won't be here once a year, we will be here 3 and 4 times a year. Not to delay this, you're probably tired. I had a wonderful history lesson here. Next year we will bring our children to listen to the history lesson. It was fantastic. But I would not do my job if I didn't represent to you the fact that I have an amazing team of people. I'd like for them to come up right now. We have, of course, our wonderful development chair. Nothing happens without this man. He's a go-getter. We also have our esteemed secretary, Maria Osorio. And if you go to DominicanParade.org, you will know the exciting things about what all these people are and who they are and what they do. I also like to call, of course, you know, the borough president knows him as DC 37. We know him as the treasurer of the Dominican Day Parade, Mr. Henry Garrido, the labor man, the labor union guy. And when you're talking about culture, and when you're talking about why it is that we do the things we do, and why it is that we're proud to say, yeah, baby, I'm Dominican, because I am. We get it because we have a man that has done it for 50-something years and does it right. He teaches our children every single year. We want to keep that program alive, along with the Catholic Charities, our esteemed and dear, wonderful Ivan. Come on, Ivan Dominguez. And many of you, of course, know this young woman that I'm going to call. Maria Lizardo needs no introduction. Northern Manhattan Improvement Corporation does wonderful work, wonderful jobs. I mean, she's all over the place. She really does things for the community. And then there's our extended family. The extended family is as important as our board. We do have other board members that couldn't make it tonight. Every one of us have other jobs that we do, not just the Dominican Day Parade. But I also want to introduce again Gaudi Rodriguez. We have, you know, Mimi, and who else? Oh, our logistic production parade person, El Señor Aquino. We wouldn't be able to do the parade we're going to do this year. Listen, you gotta go into the website. We're going to have press conferences. You're going to start seeing all the Latino channels starting tomorrow talking about this parade. Vamos a tener a Coco band that's reuniting all the original ones, are going to come to celebrate in our parade para bailar merengue, con la guira, con la tambora, con el acordeón. Jackie, you're part of the team. Come on, right over here. Isa, you're part of the team. We have an amazing group of volunteer guys. We're all volunteers. I want to thank, I would not want to leave here without wanting to thank Reynoso. As much as he thinks he twisted my arm, I think I twisted his arm. And I put him to the test. And definitely, he's going to make sure that he is up to the task, because we are turning that Dyker Beach Club into a Dominican destination. If you've never been there, you'll want to visit. It'll be cheap versus taking a flight. And if you've been to the Dominican Republic, you want to compare what you're going to get, so you better make it there. Listen, guys, I also see our esteemed Espinosa. ¿Cómo está, Espinal? Muy bien. Sí, encantada. Espinal. I don't know if my fellow board members would like to say something. Henry, would you like to say a few words? Yes.
Money man. I'm the receiver of goods. How's that? Good evening, everybody. How are you? Buenas noches. You know, I am Dominican, and I'm also curious. So when Idanis was talking about, you know, the first immigrant to New York that is non-native, Juan Rodriguez, I imagine that conversation of that Dominican going to the Dutch and saying, hey, ese tu cha, ese tu yola. No, you know, we came together a few years after a very rough patch with one single commitment. We believed strongly that a parade is actually celebrated one single day. But our community has a presence here every single day of the year. And we have a presence in every aspect of our city and our society. In fact, we believe the Dominican American community has become one of the most important catalysts for the engine that makes New York City run every single year. And so what we decided to do is, let's concentrate and put in together not only a quality parade, but also elevating the parade in a way that we can provide the contributions that everybody Dominicans make to our society. Because we're not just baseball players, we're good at that. We're not just bachata or merengue musicians, we're very good at that, right? We are not just small business owners. We are entrepreneurs. We are women of color who are initiating great ideas, and we are a community of firing spirit in labor, in religious institutions. We are now participating in a very collaborative, Wilton and I, for instance, are promoting STEM to connect young people, Edanes, right? Young people to science, technology, and arts in our society, and engineering, right? And myself in labor. So we have an array of services and contributions that we make to the society. And yes, we can do it with fun, and we can do it with panache, and we can do it with color, and we can do it with gusto, because that's who we are as a people. So, en el día de hoy, en la noche, me siento súper orgulloso de ser parte de un equipo que ha logrado desde el primer día no solo poner una parada o un desfile, sino enaltecer el nombre de nuestra comunidad dominicana todos los días del año. Porque somos no solo contribuyentes a esta sociedad, a esta economía, sino somos parte de lo que es el catalítico que mueve esta ciudad. Y hoy venimos aquí como un grupo al condado de Brooklyn con mucho orgullo a enaltecer nuestro nombre, nuestra comunidad, pero nuestra sociedad. Muchas gracias y esperamos verlo a todos en el desfile, pero antes de eso necesitamos su colaboración como tesorero, necesitamos su colaboración. We need your help, right? We need you to support us. And I know that the party was going to be great on the parade, but in the meantime, we need people to help us in putting together the logistics that are there, not just volunteer, but actually buying tickets. So I'm doing a commercial now. It's a Dominican thing, right? We're going to have a gala, and so we have distributed flyers with the locations of our activities. If you notice, all of them are free with one exception. So take advantage of the great location, which is Brooklyn. Take advantage of the great view and the great music and the great food that we're going to have. And please make sure you join us at that gala. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Eric Adams, President, for putting this together. And my good friend, Ryan Arena. Thank you so much. Buenas noches.
And the last word is thank you, Yamilki. Muchísimas gracias. And I think our esteemed councilman, Idanis, is no longer here. Thanks again. Thank you, everyone. Mi casa, tu casa.
Y quiero que se me queden ahí porque llegó a tiempo nuestro concejal dominicano que ha hecho historia con el primer plan rezonificado de East New York y empujando lo que son los puntos más clave para nuestra comunidad, lo que es la vivienda asequible, lo que es trabajo, lo que es oportunidad en el desarrollo económico de East New York. Si esto trabaja a través del concejal Rafael Espinal en Brooklyn, va a ser el modelo para la ciudad de Nueva York en toda comunidad. Quiero presentarle el concejal Rafael Espinal Jr. I want to just introduce Councilmember Rafael Espinal, our Dominican brother from East New York, who has championed what is the first under the Mayor de Blasio administration rezoning in East New York, and the opportunity to be able to see him champion every detail of that zoning, to be able to hold accountable what are those specific issues that were most important to community. It will become, upon success, the model for the city of New York. So I'd like to give this opportunity to Councilmember Rafael Espinal Jr.
Gracias and thank you. First and foremost, I really want to give a big thank you to our Borough President, Eric Adams, for all the work he's done on behalf of our community. And second, a big thank you to the Deputy Borough President, Diana Reina, for paving the way for us Dominicans in Brooklyn. She was the first Dominican elected into office. I was the second Dominican elected to office in the borough of Brooklyn, but it wouldn't have been done without her work before me. So, you know, it's truly been a pleasure. My parents came to this country back in 1970 and moved in Washington Heights, where we know which is the Mecca of the Dominicans of this city. But Brooklyn gave my parents the opportunity to buy a home and raise a family. And they came here in 1979 and were able to do that. You know, and a lot of Dominicans were able to do the same because of all the great things this borough was able to offer. But that is at risk of being lost. That is risk of being lost by the high prices of rent, by the high prices of home ownership. And we have to continue working together as a community to make sure that we are supporting each other, giving each other the information that we need to make sure we can stay in our communities. And that is my commitment to the Dominican community, making sure that we continue working so that Brooklyn can be a place where Dominicans can look at and call home, just as my parents were able to do almost 30 or 40 years ago. So, you know, yo quiero decir las gracias al presidente Eric Adams, gracias a la diputada, presidente Diana Reina, que era la primera dominicana elegida en Brooklyn. Yo era el segundo. Yo era el primero dominicano, pero era el segundo dominicano elegido. Pero no fue por el esfuerzo de ella que ella pudo llegar, ayudar a los dominicanos a llegar donde llegamos ahora. Y tenemos a Teno Reynoso ahora también. Y vamos a seguir tercero. Vamos a seguir creciendo. Pero quiero decir que los padres míos llegaron a este país, a esta ciudad, en los 70. Y Brooklyn le dio la oportunidad a ellos comprar una casa en los 79. Y yo quiero que Brooklyn se queda ser ese condado donde dominicanos pueden llegar, crear su familia, comprar una casa y vivir el mismo sueño que los padres míos podrían vivir. Pero tenemos que seguir trabajando juntos para darle a todo el mundo la información, para que nosotros conocemos cuáles son los problemas que tenemos que enfrentar y trabajar juntos para que nos podamos quedar en este condado y dar a los niños de nosotros las chances de también crear su familia aquí. Entonces vamos a trabajar todos juntos. Gracias a todo el mundo. Estoy esperando el desfile. Yo estoy muy orgulloso y esperando ese día que venga y estamos ahí con ustedes. Gracias.
Rafael, remember, we have to buy each 100 tickets to the gala. So there's a high steep that we have to meet to be able to make sure that we find every Dominican possible and friends of to be able to be celebrating this grand gala. I just wanted to shout out the fact that these complimentary meal you're going to be receiving this evening is courtesy of Floridita, a Dominican restaurant in Brooklyn and Manhattan. Queremos darle las gracias para la patrocinadora de nuestra cena esta noche, Floridita, que es una de las empresarias más exitosa en lo que es el sabor latino dominicano. Floridita, gracias por aportar nuestro evento esta noche. Y gracias a Willy y Lisa, ¿verdad?, que van a bailar una bachata o merengue. Bachata o merengue, Willy y Lisa. ¿Sí? Bachata. Una bachata es un sabor para dejarles saber lo que es el talento dominicano. Muchas gracias a Willy y Lisa, Lisa y Willy, que es la compañía Lisa y Willy. So, si quieren aprender a bailar, por favor, hablen con ellos. Manténganse en comunicación con nuestra casa de Brooklyn Borough Hall. Estamos a sus órdenes. Thank you so much for this evening. You are more than welcome to remain in touch. We are your home in Brooklyn, and we expect to serve you, our public, in every way we can. Thank you for your support. God bless you all.